Right. Welcome to Pepe Suarez Xtra on YouTube. Thanks for always watching us. We are grateful that you continue to watch us. Kindly subscribe to our channel if today happens to be the very first time you are watching our video. Kindly subscribe to the channel for us. It is Pepe Suarez Xtra here. We use this channel to cover predominantly the Black Stars of Ghana and all other national teams. So very soon, I'll be giving you stories and videos on the Black Queens who are preparing for the upcoming ALCON, that is Women's Cup of Nations. We'll be doing stories on the Black Queens. Again, the Black Starlights, the national under 20 team is in camp, preparing for a WAFU tournament. We also run stories on that particular field or on that particular front for our viewers. We'll be doing that for you. Yes, that's a promise. And so this channel is a channel that is dedicated to the Black Stars to cover the Ghanaian players, young players that you don't know about, and then everything about our players, our top players out there. We use this channel to cover those stories. Kindly subscribe to the channel for us. Yesterday, we did a video on, or it was this morning, a video on Caleb Yenchi as a rising star. You know, Caleb played very well during the Unity Cup. And he's a player who is a versatile player. He can play on the right side of defense. He can play as a defensive midfielder, as a central midfielder, as a winger. He plays a lot of positions. So this is the message that Adam B. Al-Hassan sent. He says, you made an introduction in English and you are doing the analysis in Twi. Please be consistent with your choice of language. So, Adams, thanks for your concern, number one. But we have issues here. So, what we do here is to do the hybrid type of presentation. Even though I will be speaking Twi, in there will be a lot of English in the expressions that we do. Sometimes we're doing only English on this platform, only English. And then we had complaints. People were complaining that Pepe, why is it that it's only English? You need to speak Twi. You need to do this. We are trying to satisfy you, our viewers. So I decided to do a hybrid where I speak. It's supposed to be Twi, but there's a lot of English in there, so that even if you don't understand Twi that well, you can still follow what we do. But I get your point. There's a channel where our decision is to stick to the presentation in English. And I'm sure, Adam, you just brought us back on track. Thank you so much. Now we are talking about Kudus, Mohammed, the star boy. When the organizers of the UEFA Champions League, UEFA, labeled him the star boy during that fantastic season that he was having with Ajax, it was sensational. I'm praying that Kudus will have such a season again, because he was all over in Europe, everywhere. And then he was scoring. At a point, even when there is a missed pass and it touches his leg, it will go into the net. Kudus had a super season, and that was the reason West Ham paid that much to bring him to the English Premier League. His first season was, again, very, very good season. But I think that Kudus will want to forget his performance last season. He will quickly want to forget his performance last season. I saw a story in the morning around Kudus that he had been transferred to Nottingham Forest. I was quite surprised. I want to get a story and read it again, because, in fact, I did not believe it. I made checks. I called people to, as it were, try to verify if there could be any truth in the story, even though I had my doubts. But of course, when you see those stories, you want to go in there to find out if there's an iota of truth in the stories. And the story was to the effect that Kudus had been transferred to Nottingham Forest. Let me read. Breaking news. West Ham officially part ways with £90,000 a week star midfielder, Mohammed Kudus. According to Sky Sports, West Ham reached club-to-club agreement with Nottingham Forest for the Ghanaian playmaker as he accepted the project. I didn't believe it. I did not believe it. So I decided to read a lot on Kudus. From yesterday, I decided to read a lot on Kudus. and the transfers and where he's being linked to. And surprisingly, of everything that I read, nowhere did I stumble on any story that was linking Kudus away from West Ham. This season, he played 32 Premier League games. That is huge. Out of the 38 games, Kudus played 32. He scored 5 goals and assisted 3. If I don't even remember it, I remember the bicycle kick he scored against Manchester City. That was a good goal. Or that was last season. So Kudus was involved in 8 goals. In the EFL, he scored 1 goal. In the Europa League, he scored 5 goals. So this season, no, that was the 2023-2024. He scored 5 goals in the Europa League. So clearly, this season, it was not as good as last season for Kudus Mohammed. His numbers were that he was involved in 5 goals and 4 assists across all competitions. And that makes it a total number of 9 goals involvement for the Ghanaian midfielder. When I saw the story, remember before the end of the season, he was being linked to Al Nassr, that Al Nassr were ready to pay around 90 million euros to get the services of Kudus Mohammed. That story has died a natural death, clearly meaning that it was not accurate, it was not true. Al Nassr are not looking for Kudus Mohammed. And so that story died. But when I did my checks, especially in the major tabloids in UK, what I'm picking up is that Kudus is being linked to Manchester United and also being linked to Newcastle United. These are the 2 deals around Kudus Mohammed: Manchester United and Newcastle United. Now, if you pick, let me check the newspapers. So there's Hammers News. Hammers News is a portal for West Ham, and they say West Ham hold talks in bid to beat Newcastle to Bournemouth Star as Mohammed Kudus heads to Newcastle United. That is one story. Then let me go to Football Insider. This is Football Insider. Newcastle's Mohammed Kudus transfer plan revealed. Newcastle's Mohammed Kudus transfer plan revealed. So this is Football Insider based in UK, and that is the story they brought. Yahoo Sports, and this is what Yahoo Sports was saying. Newcastle United are eyeing a move for this West Ham United winger. What will he add to the Newcastle team? And that midfielder is Kudus Mohammed. A few of the headlines in Europe. This is Foot Boom. They say Man United explores swap a deal for Mohammed Kudus amid Sancho uncertainty. United focus. This is a portal for Manchester United. Manchester United hold Mohammed Kudus swap deal with West Ham. Xtra is ready to make the move. And this is another, the people's person. Manchester United were plotting a sensational swap deal involving Mohammed Kudus and Jadon Sancho. So these are news around Kudus Mohammed that I got from major tabloids in the United Kingdom. The hardtackle.com. Manchester United have explored a swap deal involving Jadon Sancho and Mohammed Kudus. Give me sports. Manchester United hold secret talks to sign world-class West Ham forward Mohammed Kudus, and a lot of other news around Kudus Mohammed. So clearly, if you read the major tabloids in UK, they are talking about linking Kudus Mohammed to West Ham or to Manchester United. So for Manchester United, you ask, which position is Kudus Mohammed going to play? Is it the number 10 role? And the question is, are Manchester United ready to sacrifice Bruno Fernandes? Bruno Fernandes, ever since he made it into the Premier League, he's been the most creative player in the Premier League, ever since he moved from Portugal to the Premier League. There's no midfielder in the league who creates more chances than Bruno. If you look at his numbers in terms of goals and assists, no other midfielder is matching those numbers. So clearly, if Bruno is staying, there is no room for Kudus. Then I wanted to look at the story from West Ham and from Newcastle and how true it could be. So you look at the Newcastle United team; they were pushing to get that slot, in fact, how they played this season, clearly they deserved at least a slot in the UEFA Champions League. Remember, they've been in the Champions League and their performance was good. Their performance was good when they played in the UEFA Champions League. They gave us something that we could love. So it is a side that in recent times they've been consistent in Europe and they've been doing well in Europe. And they were thinking that this season they could continue and then still be there. Unfortunately, because the teams who will be playing the Champions League have been expanded in England, they qualified as the fifth best placed team. So Liverpool first, Arsenal second, Manchester City third, Chelsea fourth, and then Newcastle were fifth. And so Newcastle picked a slot to be in Europe in the Champions League. For me, I think that transfer will be fantastic for Kudus Mohammed as a player. He's still developing. And Newcastle, the pressure there is not like Manchester United, who are struggling. This Manchester United team is struggling. It is a team that makes top-notch players, world-class players, look ordinary. Nobody can tell me that at the time that Casemiro was leaving Real Madrid to Manchester United, Casi was not the best holding midfielder in the world. He was the best holding midfielder. The best DM in the world was Jose Enrique Casemiro Kasemeski. He comes to Manchester United and all of a sudden, he looks like a player who has forgotten the basis of football. The basis of football. It looks like he's forgotten the basis of football. But that cannot be the story because he's a top-notch player. So the pressure at Manchester United, how people made mockery of a player like, what's the name? Harry Maguire, a player that Pep Guardiola was ready to spend 80 million pounds to sign. He comes to Manchester United and all of a sudden he's like a player who doesn't even know how to score. So Manchester United have really suffered. It didn't start from last season or last 2 seasons. They signed and held Di Maria. When Di Maria was on form at Real Madrid, Di Maria came in and it was woeful. They brought in Memphis Depay, and Memphis Depay did not love his life at that club. So it has been that story of Manchester United struggling for players to even replicate the form that they've replicated already at their club size. And so I will not push Kudus Mohammed to such a club that is suffering. I'd rather push him to Newcastle where he'll be playing the UEFA Champions League. Last season, I watched that side built by Eddie Howe and how they play. And clearly, Kudus can fit into the team built by that coach for Newcastle United. So these are transfer rumors around Kudus Mohammed. I remember when the deal for him to go to Asia, Saudi Arabia to be precise, came, I did a story, I did a video, I told you, under no circumstance will I wish that a player like Kudus Mohammed, who has a lot of football in him, goes there. But of course, sometimes the decision goes beyond football. Sometimes the decision is about the money that you make. Kudus is 24. So the money that you make. Remember when Asamoah decided to leave Sunderland to, was it Align in Asia? Is it in UAE? He left Sunderland at the time that Liverpool were interested. Chelsea were showing signs of interest, but the baby Jan left to Align, where he was earning close to $1 million a week. Remember that contract that he signed? Or it was $1 million a month, $250,000 a week. Yes. So clearly, sometimes the decision is not only resting with the player, it is resting with the player and the responsibilities he has, plus the club. So West Ham, I'm sure if they receive a bid of around 90 million from a side like Al Nassr, West Ham may be inclined to push Kudus out so that they can get 90 million. Because if you are selling him to Newcastle, maybe it will be around 40, 50 million pounds thereabouts. So if we could sell him for more, then they will try to push him. But I will not, under any circumstance, advise that Kudus Mohammed ever moves to the Asian League at this point in time. He has a lot of football in him. If his performance, if he gives 60% or 70% of what he did for Ajax, I'm sure top clubs in Europe will begin to rush for his service. We all remember how he was being linked to Liverpool if Mohamed Salah was supposed to leave. So I think he should stay in the Premier League. If it's Newcastle, where he will play UEFA Champions League, that will be better for a player like Kudus Mohammed. We pray for Kudus. He's a star boy. He's a player that the Black Stars of Ghana will need on any day. The Black Stars will need Kudus Mohammed to be in his shape, in top form, and still play for Ghana so that we get a lot out of Kudus Mohammed. Thank you for watching our channel. I'm sure that Adam, Alaza, you still come back to watch this video. We did only in English, and we'll stick to that. We'll try to do here English and English and English. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. God bless you.